Yes,
Yeah, I mean, I used to
absolutely.
when I was younger, I used to watch I like watching Tavis Smiley, and I like watching great interviewers like Charlie Rose and shit like that. Because I always like to study great men of history of and of today or whatever, and like how would they interact. Like imagine we have these greats here today, like we don't have a Abraham Lincoln um or Alexander the Great or a Mensa Musa talking and shit like that. All we got are the people of today, and we should appreciate these folks because and the technology that we have, that people could sit across the table from each other and talk, and it be recorded and documented in video and visual. Not something that's just committed to memory, but some shit that we can actually look on tape and be like, see, it did happen. You know what I mean? And confirm
Yeah,
if it aged well or if it didn't. But like I had that appreciation for uh those moments when I would watch them, because I was a avid studier of history. I loved history a lot, and to see history unfold before your very eyes is amazing to me. You know what I mean? Like you looking back and you're seeing shit happen in real time. It's not like some shit that you read in a book. I saw 9/11. I saw that shit. That's history happening in the now. And I saw it with my fucking eyes. I didn't live in Oklahoma and shit. I was right here. You know what I mean? So like
yeah,
I'm living history
facts.
right the
I
fuck
feel like
now. You know what I'm
facts.
saying? So like, and if we are the witnesses of the people, the witness, right? The witnesses of history occurring in the now, then we owe it to the rest of the people to feel the value of what we appreciate and what we see, and it should be you want people to feel how much you value something. I remember somebody saw me rocking. He's like, I don't like music. I don't like your music, but I like your music. Do you get what I mean? And I'm like, I think I understand. I like your passion for the music, the type of music genre that you do, which I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate your music genre, but I like the way you represent it. And it made me closer to
What?
kind of make piquing an interest in the type of music you do. And I was like, that's crazy that I can do that. That I could sway someone's opinion from someone being adamant about not liking this kind of music to actually being like, you know what? I got second thoughts about that. And when I see, and the reason being is because I, I want to reflect. I want my music to reflect and my performances to reflect the experiences that I see when these greats are being interviewed by people. Like when these greats talk and shit like that, I see them and I'm like, yo, these are great minds, and I want to have that very same aura when I perform and shit. Like it's like sitting down and experiencing an interview and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or even when we're interviewing, I want people to be look back at this and be like, yo, this motherfucker was saying some shit, and he just didn't say shit just to say shit. He really had value, and he really had a lot of meaning behind what was said, and that it did something. That I took something away from me watching that interview. It made me a better person, or it made me want to be or do something better, or do something with quality, or shit like that. But I always watched the greats, and the reason why I also watched the greats because I didn't have any, and I looked up to great men, and I don't. I'm not trying to put anything down on women, but I was a young, impressionable boy who didn't have any like real strong father figures in my life. And I know that's like a typical story that's told in this country. But that really impacted me. And so the only way that I can find good male role models was either in the streets or on TV and shit like that. But not on TV watching G.I. Joe and none of that bullshit. Like watching the greats being interviewed and then getting something from them. Like if there's some photosynthesis that I could get a little bit of light from what they have, that I could take that and probably rub that off on me so I could be a better human being, and it'll reflect in whatever I do. And going back 360, when that one person said, I don't like your music, but I like your music. And I was like, all right, I've already fulfilled, there's already a sense of fulfillment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, so I
Yeah,
think that that's pretty dope. And I think that
I
um,
think it's pretty dope too.
when you
definitely
around
dope.
great people and shit like that, that shit rubs off and it cascades down from your mind to someone else. And I want it to bleed through the music. That's why when I do music, I want you to know I just don't do shit just to do shit. Like there's really a lot of ideas in that shit. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there together. It's amazing that people could look at music and just discard it like it's nothing. Like that shit is crazy to me. I remember one time I saw my friend. We watching a boxing match. You know what I mean? He's black. I'm Puerto Rican and shit like that. And there's two Mexicans fighting in the beginning of the fight, and they fighting their hearts out. And I'm like, yo, he's like, oh man, I ain't nobody, no nobody want to see two Mexicans fight. And I was like, what the fuck? These people put their whole fucking time in the shit. They bust their ass in the gym. They had to fucking not fuck their girls. They fucking probably fought 80 fights before they fucking took a L. And they don't matter because they two Mexican dudes? Hell no. And then that made me think like every human being's a legend. Everybody got value. You know that? Everybody got a story to tell. Because I mean, imagine all them times where there was no technology to record people for them 200,000 years of human history. How many greats we had? No one could tell. No one knows. And imagine that we don't think that they're great because they just don't look the way we want them to look. Like, oh, Jesus don't got blonde hair and blue eyes, or Jesus ain't black. Well, then that's not my kind of Jesus. Then fuck out of here. Does that still take away from the man and the value? You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. It's
Nah, they just
superficial
turned
shit.
them white.
Yeah. Or people could turn them
It was
another
just like
color and
poof,
shit like that.
just yeah, yeah,
But
fact.
yeah, like so people will probably like you know what I'm saying that one doesn't devalue upon how you perceive them to be, because quality is an inside job. You know what I mean?
Fact.
And then I look
Yes.
at people when they look at shit, I'll be like, yo, you bugging. Like you would dismiss somebody. I bet you if I look light skinned, I'm on a color, I could get dismissed. How many Puerto Ricans contributed to hip hop? And there's rarely any Puerto Ricans that represent or being represented in hip hop in a certain way or be given platforms just because they look the way they look. It's fucking stupid. It's idiotic. It's fucking dumb. But I tend to not think about human beings like that. And I'm glad that God, not even a God. I'm glad that I was came into a family that's racially mixed. Cause ain't nobody more racially mixed than fucking people in the Caribbean, and that you could see things from all
Fact.
sides. So that it makes you have empathy. Not that I'm the most. Being in the East Coast will make you desensitized, but being
Yes.
from quality stock could allow you to make sure that your empathy kicks in when you're in a world that allows you to be desensitized. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the
Hmm.
gangster shit. But that's another topic for another day, B. We could explore that shit all day. There's mad shit that this shit could go mad deep. Wild deep, and I don't even know where the fuck it'll end up, but it'll be going wild deep, wild deep.
Rabbit
That's gangster.
holes.
Rabbit hole. And that's what I'm trying to find out. Yo, Dutch, I'm really just trying to put the pieces of I don't give a fuck about the fame and other bullshit. I don't give a fuck about that. But I definitely want to make sure that my mark is made while I'm on this earth for a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen so many people
Facts.
on not Legend Black, for example, never got they shit, never got to explain themselves or never had that, and are no different, even with all the technology that we have, than those people who existed uh, within that 200,000 years of human beings being on this planet that had no way of recording this shit because they probably ain't know how to paint and they ain't know how to write, and that's bugged out. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people from our city who never. There's so many people in the Bronx that you never hear. Does that devalue them
Facts.
or that take away from them as human beings? I mean, shit. Fred the Godson, yo, look how amazing of an artist he was, and now it's like now they on to something else. It's bugged out. And that's just how human beings are. We don't be having time to think. We the other day I just found out somebody died and I ain't even my man Greg Fitch, he was a homie. I saw him on Facebook all the time. He always supported me when I was a kid. He used to take me to Washington Square Park to battle people. And he died out of nowhere because of a heart attack. And since
That's crazy.
so many people died from this COVID shit, it was just like, oh, another death. It became like whatever. Like I couldn't even honor his death the right way because I was so caught up in the saturation of death during this period. If that makes any sense. And
Makes perfect sense.
how do we not lose our humanity when you're in the midst of all this, you know what I'm saying, of people just dropping like flies and shit like that. And not only are they dropping like flies, back in the days people dropped like flies and they didn't keep no presence. Like you didn't see them constantly. But now you got them having a presence on social media that still feels like they still around. You know what I'm saying? That shit is bugged the fuck out.
Word.
Cause it's like
That's
their
a big
presence
fact.
is
I hadn't thought about that.
that's the crazy shit. Their presence. You looking at old like statuses that they tagged you in, and you be like, God damn, b. Like we just
Mhm.
talked last month, and we have
Facts.
recorded conversations in of having this. You know what I mean? Back in the days when people would die, they had no correspondence like that. You ain't had no. You
Yeah.
probably had some letter correspondence, but who the fuck was writing? Was you writing letters to your man back and forth? Unless y'all was in jail,
You know.
right?
No,
So now it's like, you know what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
write
The
no
last
letters.
Nah, so it's like you people got stories and they stories will not be told because nowadays everybody got a story to tell. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just
Yeah, no, everybody's always had a story to tell. And like you said, it's just we haven't had the means to be able to hear everybody's stories.
Yeah.
And that's part of
yeah.
what we've been doing with this shit, where it's
Yeah.
just like, yo,
Or
I felt very strongly of the mindset of like, yo, we gotta like document ourselves because nobody's gonna do it for us. You know what I mean? And like it's
I think
important for
that
me to like be able to hear my homie stories because I've lost too many homies now, and it's just like, yeah, I guess maybe like some sort of humanity shit, like we're like too close to seeing all this humanity go away. It's just
I
like, yo,
think
I wanna talk to all my bros.
everything you said is right cuz like when I look at what we going through and what we seen and the people that continue to that were here no longer here and shit like that, the last thing that we do is we take a piece of them and we just add it to who we are. You know what I'm saying? And that stays within our our genes. Like we take their genes, merge them with ours, and then they exist through us. They exist by our actions. They
Fact.
exist by what we do. They exist of how we depict them on record and shit like that. So that's why, you know what I mean. I was really thinking deeply in this next project because I really wanted to take on. We were gonna take me and Don Tique had an idea. You remember the dude from the scenario? Remember the here it is, baby pa. Remember he died and shit. He was the scenario remix. You never heard the scenario
Yeah,
remix? The
yeah.
first dude, he passed away, right? And it says that he was in
Uh,
spiritual essence in the song. Busta Rhymes says it. You know what I mean?
Word.
And then Redman had a song dedicated to a rapper named Rockefeller, who people didn't even know about, but he allowed that dude Rockefeller's record, like the half of the record, to play on the There Is a Dark Side album. A lot of people don't know that. So Don Tique and myself was talking about like, yo, you know what? Why don't you be I'll be Rockefeller and you be that other dude from the Scenario remix, and then we'll do a song in remembrance of them. And then the last verse will be either a verse of Saya or that kid who's the father of Legend Black as like, a to pay homage and shit like that. And so this
Yeah,
this
sounds
whole
like the album is definitely gonna be called Legend Black.
that's
Sounds
I'm
like you
trying
got a
to
lot of reasons to call it Legend Black. Legend, you know what I mean?
I got
Like
so many
I think
ideas
it's
for this
fair to
shit.
say,
I got so many ideas. Yo, the ill shit is like we put all these ideas on record, Dutch, and these shits be going like fucking nowhere. That should be sad as fuck. But
nah,
at at the end of the day,
nah,
that's the test. That's the test of a true musician. Are you out here like
yeah,
Nas said? When you doing this shit, are you doing this shit? You doing this shit with or without a record deal? Like we bringing it back to that essence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Right now, you get what you witnessing right now is the maturity of an artist who never really had their day in court, but the beauty in not having their day in court because the court may be a kangaroo court.
Mm. I hear what you're
Mm.
That
saying.
shit may just be that shit may not even be what everything is wrapped up to be. It's like you go into the city of Oz, you go into Emerald City and you find out the Wizard of Oz really ain't no fucking wizard. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of times that's what the industry is. The industry is not everything is cracked up to be. You actually are in a better place by being pure to who you are now, so that many moons from now when people really dig your record, they at least find the true essence of what society was feeling and not what, a couple of people who are controlled by some sort of entity want you to feel.
Right.
And I think that's even deeper. You know what I'm saying? Uncompromised people. Because that's what you find hard in the circus. If it's a circus, everybody's there to play an act, right? That's what the circus is about. So, what do you do when they not a part of the circus? So then they ain't, that doesn't work well.
Right.
Cause even the fucking, you know what I mean? That shit is just bugged out. And so sometimes you're not a clown. If you're not a clown, you might not feel it might not work because you don't know how to play that role. Cause you just not built to be a clown, and that's bugged out.
Mhm. You're not built to be a
You know,
clown or an elephant.
that's what I mean. You built to be outside of that shit. So like, it's a lot of shit that there's a lot of different topics and ideas that even from this conversation I'm gonna revisit, and I might actually comment them on record because that's the best way to
That's dope.
explain shit.
Work.
That's what an artist
Big
does.
facts.
A artist talks and they create while they talking. Like
Spit
I'm
your
having been
perspective
yeah, we
on
having great
perspective.
conversation.
A lot of
We're having great
perspectives.
conversation, but at the same time we getting ideas and we have, we writing the shit to make shit
No,
to
it's
make
fresh.
even this has quality and shit. You know what I mean?
I
But that's
definitely
gangster.
think this has a lot of quality. I can tell you one thing: these conversations about my
Peaceful.
art game, you just learn so much off of this shit over. And I think like what you say about everyone being a legend is true. Like basically, all I do now is talk to a lot. Well, one of the things I do is talk to people and learn their like life stories and highlights, and what they feel is important. And everybody's got like a real, even like the most basic life situation can produce some pretty remarkably interesting stories. Like you wouldn't believe how sometimes what you would think to be the most mundane people make for the best interviews. Because like
Yeah.
everybody's a legend at the end of the day. Everybody just, we all live the life. And I
He's a
think
local
That
legend. Like
that
that's
mean,
somebody
sh-
that's like a town. That's the guy in the town that everybody is just like, what? Or that's that
yes it is.
Norm in
Or
Cheers, right? Like that's like
yeah,
Norm, and everybody sees
yeah,
him. They're like, oh, it's fucking, it's Peter, it's fucking, it's Heathcliff,
or you
it's
see that like
whatever the fuck
yo,
is the
you see
guy,
that like in
like
every
it's all these
workplace, you know?
people, and
yeah, man.
they don't get no, they don't, there's no statues for them, there's no songs for them, there's no, there's no nothing except just those memories. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, nah, we get to nowadays, we get to memorialize like ourselves and others more. And I think that
the,
this is a great
I mean,
tool to do that.
with social media right now, people customize their profiles to their wants and likes and things of that nature. So it has them closer to them being their own celebrity within their own mind. And sometimes, you know what, there is a degree of narcissism, but narcissism with people that suffer from that particular personality disorder is a 1% within the whole population. The vast majority of us need people to tell us like, yo, you a legend, you dope, you
Mm.
gonna be alright, and not take it to a level like I'm a fucking megalomaniac and everybody ain't shit. But it is true, there are those megalomaniacs out there that you have to be careful with. But the vast majority of humanity aren't megalomaniacs. They will just want someone to tell them like, you know what, man, you gonna be alright, and you a legend, and you got this. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. It ain't rocket science. People just need people to. If we uplift each other more, we come from the East Coast where we always told you ain't shit, shut the fuck up, this, that, and the third, and that's a compliment. You know what I'm saying?
Or
That's a compliment. You wake up and somebody be like, "Fuck you looking at? Fuck you looking at?" And then smile like, like only we could understand that.
yeah,
But that's not the attitude that I suggest the whole world needs to see. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
People would
no,
need to be
absolutely
like,
not.
"Yo, you good? You a legend? This, that, and the third." And that's why I could see the beauty in why people would see that, because people might not
Yeah,
understand our way of talking to each other and
no, people
telling
people
people like
definitely
that.
don't understand.
Not at
You
all.
can see it in the people who come here and try to like live here, and right, whether they're gentrifiers or, I mean, they're all gentrifiers, right? But like, um, a majority of them are gentrifiers. A majority of them, a lot of them do still move into their own like neighborhoods where they're the majority. But like,
Yeah,
you look at them, and when they try to like act like New Yorkers, they take they don't do it right. Like they're being dicks, but not in the right way. Like it's just like, nah, you're just being a dick. That's not our shit. That's not like there's
yeah,
it
like
like
it's a right way to be a dick and a wrong way. It's mad
yeah,
weird, yo. I can't
yeah,
explain that
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Yeah,
But
me
it's
either.
like
That's
it.
why I stopped right there.
Nah, but like somebody be like, yo, you be fucking with some. But the reason why we fuck with people out here, because we come up from a place where we want you to, we want everyone to be their best, and to be their best, you gotta build the best up by testing them and see where they stand. That's why a lot of people got bars out here. That's why you probably get the best folks out here, because everyone's out. Even though it has a crab in the barrel kind of situation. Let's be real, it does. But there's an evolutionary trait to that, because it builds the best. You know what I mean? But what we fail to realize, which the rest of the country has realized, is that the reason why humanity excels, human beings, Homo sapiens, is because of the way how we work well with each other. And that's what New York gets lost in and shit. That we human beings are fascinating creatures because they can communicate with each other and be like, yo, let's create this village, let's do this, let's do that, da da da. They can do things that even other human species were unable to do, and animals, they do it, but they can't do it to a point. Like ants. Ants could have fucking a whole structure and this and that because it's inherent, it's inside of their genes, right? But they can't fucking build a strike or a union or a labor union or organize labor in that funds and get representation and things of that nature. That's a human trait. And humans make things like that happen because we work well together for the benefit of all and shit like that. That's the difference between us and other species. And sometimes as New Yorkers or people within that vein, we lose sight of that. We always trying to rough people up, which is part of our dazzle, and at the same time we always try to knock each other down and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, that's why the South can win sometimes, because they be like, oh, we don't got those problems. Now they probably got those problems, but before they didn't, because it was more of a pleasant situation. That's why people could come from outside our city or outside our area and still take over, because they'll come here with their whole like G Wally G Wally talk, or it's a great time had by all type shit, folksy shit, and motherfuckers from outside be like, that's pleasant. And that's a little bit change from the whole
Great
everybody
time
being a
had
bunch
by
of
all.
dicks. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's whatever is. Sometimes people come in here with something different than that's outside of our norm, and it ends up becoming accepted. It could be the most ruthless, narcissistic motherfucker, but just the fact that they doing shit in a pleasant way in a world where everybody's just a bunch of honest assholes, well-meaning assholes, they'll win and shit like that. So we
Yeah,
got a lot of things to really look at in terms of how we interact with people, and you know how we could be who we are, but at the same time just not being disconnected from the rest of humanity and shit. Like that's mad gangster. It's just it's a balance that you have to have on the East Coast, right? Because you gotta be like you a dick and you a lovable asshole, but at the same time you gotta know like yo I could connect with you and I could still keep my empathy, and that's a whole dynamic type of human being and shit. It's mad bug the fuck out, son. I gotta explore that on record. I'm gonna do that shit. I gotta do that shit. That's crazy. But yo, I'm glad that you had me on this interview, B. How long we could talk for? Like years? We
Yo,
be out here for
yo,
years.
for years. Yeah, nah. I mean,
I'm
there's
about to I'm
no.
about to go to 2-4 store. I want to get cookies, but I ain't trying to. Damn, I've been eating like a monster. I gotta chill, B. I
Nah,
chill like
that's
a
good.
motherfucker.
Sis said we wrapping
Yeah,
up. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
So I guess that,
Oh,
honestly, yeah. I feel like you should definitely come back though.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, yo, Dutch, my man. Like that's the homie. So that's like light work. That ain't nothing. Light work means like whatever. I could come. I could I come back. That's not a problem and shit. We could definitely talk about this
Like
all
this
day.
is
So
like one of those ones where I'm gonna have to unpack it for the next week because there's a lot.
Yeah,
That
yo.
was a lot. That was
It
like
was a lot.
I was like
Yeah, nah, it's
a
great.
master class in a philosophical perception that I don't know if it has a name, but it's the CF one. That's that one.
It's a
It was
legend.
wild.
yeah,
It's legend. It's
I like
legendary.
that shit.
we could talk all the time. Be facts. I mean, yo, me and Dutch, you
Legend
already
talk.
know.
All legend talk.
Dutch, you already know when we out there working with people doing our stage and shit or our work shit. We work well together. But you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
because we got
absolutely.
a good friendship and shit like that.
Yeah. I
But
would
just the
say
Nah,
that
type of
we
but
also
camaraderie.
both we have a eye to eye with a work ethic. We have we have
Yeah.
we have an appreciation for having a work ethic, which is something that I appreciate out of people. Like, and the older that I get, the more that like that trumps all to me. Is like people's work ethic
Yo,
right.
that's crazy
because
that
it speaks volumes about their character.
everything you said is real. Cause you could have somebody and they might say some other shit that you see their work ethic and you be like, you see their integrity, you be like, yo, you know what, man, I appreciate you more for the human being that you are than whatever other shit that you are. Like it could be a rapper, like let's say it could be a Takashi 6ix9ine motherfucker. Let's say he's one day working stagehand and you see him actually busting his ass and doing shit and doing crazy shit and working and really being out there. And I'm saying like 5 months in doing still the same shit. No shiesty shit. You be like, you ain't the motherfucker that you are on this. That's not who you. But it is who you are. It's just different layers, and that's
Right.
humanity. That's the
Yeah,
beauty of humanity, is that human beings
yeah,
have all these different
Right.
layers to them, and you can appreciate them.
Yes.
Nas said it himself, like every artist is truly an artist because of their contradictions, and we all
Right.
know Nas got mad
Right.
contradictions and
yeah.
shit like that.
Yes.
But
That
it's a lot of it's the
Yes.
as human beings we evolve and shit.
I appreciate
But
you a lot,
nah,
CF.
this is facts. This is facts. All right,
but, uh,
we're gonna wrap it up,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Because sis gotta get to doing other things.
no, but
Danny, shouts to Danny.
I
Shouts to
appreciate
EO
you.
Dub.
Yo, shout out everybody
Um,
watching
what up?
this. Make sure y'all follow End of the Week at slash EOWTV and EODub.com. And you get to see CF tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, at FreeODub. I think that's how it works on
Frio
Yeah, we
Dub
Thursdays.
at
definitely.
9:30 p.m.
I'm rocking with the
Eastern.
God. I know Jay Hur was here. I know the God. Um, Zoo. Anybody who knows Zoo is an amazing off the top artist and just
Facts.
overall great human being. He's a fucking teacher, a principal, a deacon, all types of shit.
They
So
discuss
Yes.
books.
So yeah,
They
make
yeah,
have
sure.
like
we
a
out
they
there.
have like a book club.
Yeah, that's
Check it
amazing.
out
Oh,
every week.
he's gonna be on the next record. We're gonna have a record called Book Review.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's gonna be
wild.
Oh,
on it.
that's dope.
So
Yeah.
me and Don Tique and himself, we're gonna talk about a lot of our favorite books that we got, and it's just no one ever did that. No one ever did that on record. What the shit that we're gonna explore on this record is gonna be shit that nobody's really doing on record. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's gonna be different.
You.
But yo, man,
Jesus
I'm
facts.
about to get up out of here.
I appreciate
Yo,
having you
CF,
here.
you're a legend, bro.
Big
Thank you so
legend.
much,
Yo,
This is
yo.
you
one of
already
those.
know
This
Dutch.
is
I'ma
one of those
hit you.
big interviews.
Yo, he started the raid,
Yeah,
yo.
I mean
All
that's just
right,
it's got a
do
timer
your
so
do
that way
your
we can do it all
piecing.
proper.
Oh, okay.
It's not like an immediate thing. Then there's like another timer that
Oh,
goes a
okay.
while. But yo, I was just to say I appreciate having you here, CF. Everybody, make sure you check it out. Links in description. Follow their stuff. Honestly, the albums is mad impressive. You just heard the details, but like they're really well done from somebody that's not
Now
him.
that was the best pitch if I've ever heard a pitch to like go hear somebody's project.
Yeah,
Like
I've
this
never
whole thing is like, yo, this guy is clearly very intelligent. I'm
facts.
gonna go check out this music just off that,
But yeah,
just based off that. You know what I'm saying?
and all of that'll be down
Yeah,
there.
man.
Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate you all coming through and learning more perspectives. Yo, live long and
Yeah.
prosper, everybody.
Yo, hit me up, CF201, billionmanrebellion.com, Billion Man Rebellion 201, Don Tique 3, all that, IG. We also have our album, Static Files and Ghost Lineage,
All
streaming on all
the
digital
links are down
platforms.
below, man. Links in
Correct, you
description.
already know. Got that.
We be putting the links in the description. Son.
Yo, you
Know
the
what I mean,
best, son, doing your
yo,
homework. So, yo, man.
it's Holden, yo. Holden makes me. I was just smart. Know
Great
what I
looks,
mean?
Holden. Great looks. Yo, peace to Canada, man. Like I didn't. There's so
Peace to
much love
Canada.
coming from that, from Toronto, from Montreal, from Quebec. I hope I got all the regions right, but I know that in like Canada seems to be like really, really rocking. I went to Toronto
Vancouver,
once. I
Vancouver.
never went
You
to
miss
like
Vancouver.
upper northern Canada, but there's an
Oh,
amazing
that's the
group of people
fucking.
up there. So
You
peace to
talking
everybody
about
in North
either?
America.
Yo,
Appreciate you a lot,
shit.
CF.
What's the motherfucker's
What up,
name?
legend?
Word, word. Yo, peace to everybody. Peace, God. Peace, legend.
What
Thank you
up?
so
Hit me,
much
yo.
for
You
the
already know,
blessing of your
killer.
presence.
All right,
You
take
already
care.
know.
Got
I'll be
you.
seeing you.
You
I'll be
already,
seeing you in the
legend.
field.
Peace.